Today we are already starting the classification, right?
Started classification. Okay, so yesterday we have seen introduction to the classification technique. Okay, so today we'll see about text classifiers. Yesterday we have created a sample classifier and how to create a sample classifier and how to classify different species. Okay, based on the input features that are given. What are those input features? Sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. These are the various input features that we have used in order to predict the particular species of the flower. So today what we will do is, today we are going to see about the text classifiers. Okay, how to classify the texts, various types of text. In familiar language, we will call them as a sentiment analysis. Okay, sentiment analysis means, for example, if I give you a particular text, you have to say that is it a positive sentence or negative sentence. Okay, for example, if you are talking very badly with your robot, the robot should analyze that you are speaking some bad words, or you are expressing some negative feedback on the robot. Okay, am I audible? Am I audible? Okay, am I audible? Please acknowledge to chat. Okay, so when you are talking some bad words with your robot, it says that you are giving some bad or negative feedback to the robot. Okay, that means what? It will analyzes your text and says that is it a positive sentence or a negative sentence. So how it is going to be happen? Okay, that is we will discuss now. Okay, how to do text classifier. Okay, so let us. My aim is to select a very best restaurant in Vizag. Okay, I got some leisure time in weekend, and I want to visit some restaurant. Of course, not in this period. In this lockdown period, it is not possible for me. But after lockdown or before lockdown, I may get an idea that how to spend my weekend. Okay, to spend my weekend, what I'll do is, first I'll plan to eat something in a restaurant. As I'm belongs to Vizag, so I want to find some best restaurant in Vizag. So how to find a best restaurant in Vizag means I will collect reviews from each and every restaurant. Okay, reviews means all types of reviews. Okay, what kind of reviews? Positive reviews or negative reviews? Okay, I will collect, for example, 10 hotel reviews. Okay, top 10 hotel reviews, and irrespective of whether they are positive or negative reviews, and I will analyze which hotel has the more positive reviews. Then I will select that restaurant and I will spend my time there. That is my wish. So the question is how you want to analyze the reviews. Okay, for example, I have 3 types of reviews like this. Okay, we have 3 reviews there here. So watching the chefs create an incredible edible art made the experience very unique. I have to tell whether it is a positive sentence or a negative sentence. Okay, so if I consider that it is a positive sentence, as it sounds positive, so I will give thumbs up to it. That means it is a positive sentence. Similarly, my friend tried their ramen and it was pretty forgettable. Forgettable means it is a, again I got what do you call some negative words in this sentence. So I have analyzed that this is a negative sentence. That's why I'm giving thumbs down to it. Okay. So if you consider the third review, all the biryani was delicious, easily best biryani in Vizag. So it is something sounds good, right? It sounds positive. And this sentence has a 2 positive words. That's why I'm giving 2 thumbs ups to it. Okay. Why? Because this sentence contains 2 positive words. That's why I'm giving 2 thumbs ups. Okay. Like that, I can analyze what is the positive review and what is the negative review. According to that, I'll analyze it. So if you make that, this is what actually it is a manual review, right? This box analysis is a manual analysis. Okay. According to whether the positive words are sounding more or negative words sounding more, according to that, you have given thumbs up or thumbs down. It is a manual review. Okay. For example, if I want to make it an intelligent app, okay, what it will do is it will take all the reviews of the restaurant. Okay. It will take all the reviews of a restaurant and it will give some experience. Is it a 5-star experience or 3-star experience or 5-star experience based on the words that are words that are in the reviews. Okay, here experience means according to the experience in the first sentence, it is giving thumbs up. That's why it is giving the 4-star. For example, only one positive word is that. That's why it is giving 4-star. In the second review, I have given thumbs down here. Okay, that's why it is giving 3-star in this. And if we have 2 thumbs up in the third review, that is why it is giving 5-star rating. But who are doing all these things? Your app is doing all these things. Your app will take the reviews of the restaurant and give the star rating according to the rating. Okay, is it clear? Let us say the core building block of this text classifier. Okay, for example, if I say if I take the review called easily best biryani in Vizag, for example. Okay, this is my review. So my sentence, what my sentence sentiment classifier will do is this classifier should take this review statement as the input and it should predict whether it is a positive review or a negative review. Now it is the system's job. Now it is a system's job to construct a sentence sentiment classifier, okay, which will evaluate all the reviews and give the result as positive review or negative review. Okay. So this is what the example of a binary class classifier. Binary class classifier means we have only 2 labels, 2 types of labels, whether a positive label or a negative label. Okay, this is how the block diagram is represented. Okay, here I'll consider the sentence from the review as my input X. Okay, and my output may be either positive label or negative label based on the evaluation done by the classifier on a particular review or a particular X. Okay, what if it is a multi-class? What if it is a multi-class? I already told you multi-class means it has more than 2 labels. Okay, for example, if I take an internet corpus, okay, internet corpus means it has large number of web pages or large number of text documents or web documents. What I want to do is I want to classify. If I take 100 web documents, I want to classify all these 100 web documents. Some of them may belong to education, some of them may belong to finance, some of them may belong to technology, or some of them may belong to entertainment, some of them may belong to sports. Okay, so here what we have is the text documents are sticking to a particular label, but not particularly 2 labels. Okay, based on the nature of the text, it will give the particular label. That label number may be more than 2. That kind of classifier will call it as a multi-class classifier. Am I clear? Okay, so any doubts so far? Please ask me through chat. Otherwise, we'll proceed. Any doubts up to now? Yes? Please acknowledge through chat. Any doubts? Just now we have seen what is a binary classifier and what is a multi-class classifier. Okay, shall I proceed further? Okay, now This is another example I want to tell you. That is what a spam filtering, which is a, can anybody tell me spam classifier? Is it a binary classifier or a multi-class classifier? This is a question from my side. Anybody can answer through chat box. Chandrasekhar, I'll clarify after some slides. Yes, it is a binary classifier. Very good. Very good. But how we can say that it is a spam or a not spam? Okay. For example, a mail you are getting, okay, your mail, your mail with that is what you are getting. I wanted to classify whether it is a spam mail or a not spam mail. How can we differentiate which is a spam mail or which is a not spam mail? Means I can say that I will have some suspicion on some text of an email, sender, IP, etc. All these are the various constraints that I have to consider, okay, based on the nature of text of the email, sender or IP address, all these things. I will predict whether this mail is spam mail or not spam mail. For example, UK lottery. If I say that you got a message that UK lottery, or you got a message that from US lottery, or you may get a message that you have won 1 crore rupees. All these are all the examples of spam mails. Am I right? All these are the example of spam mails. How can I say that it is a spam? Means it is having some suspicious text which is not suitable for me, okay, which is not apt for me. This mail contains some suspicious text, so I'm not considering this mail. That's why I'll put it as a spam. You will do that. You will do the same for so many number of mails like that. Then what it will, the machine will train in that. Okay, we will differentiate spam and not spam. Okay, your machine is going to be trained. Okay, which mail you are keeping it as a spam and which mail you are not keeping it as a spam. According to that, your system is going to train and see, and in the future mails, it will predict which mail is spam and which mail is not spam based on the text of the email and sender address and IP, like that. Similarly, we have image classifiers. Okay, I will give an image. Okay, I will give an image and it should say that what is the label of that image, or which animal you are currently seeing on the screen. Okay, it should identify what is the breed of the dog. What is the breed of the dog? Okay, that is displayed in the given input image called X. So based on the analysis that has been done on the image pixels, it will going to predict that particular breed of the dog, whether it belongs to a Labrador Retriever, Golden Retriever, Redbone, Bloodhound, Rhodesian Ridgeback. What are all these things? These are the various possible dog breeds. Can anybody tell me which classifier is helpful for us in order to classify what kind of breed this dog belongs to? Can anybody tell me through chat which type of classifier I should use? I should use either a binary classifier or a multi-class classifier in order to classify or predict the label of the dog as belongs to this particular breed. Is multi-class classifier. Very good. So clear, all of you? Okay. So these are all various examples where we are going to use classifier. And one more example, we have real-time example, medical diagnosis. So we have various features here based on the thermometer. What thermometer means? Based on your temperature, based on the pneumonia levels in your lungs, and some medical tests and DNA. All these are all what? Various types of input features. Based on these input features, I'm going to predict whether you are healthy or you are suffering with cold, or whether you are suffering with flu, or whether you are suffering with pneumonia, all these things. Okay. So I will build a classifier called as a disease classifier model. This classifier model will take all these input features and predict one of the labels that has been given here. Okay. If everything is fine, it will predict that you are healthy. If your temperature is something vary, that means you are suffering with some disease. Okay. For example, you have more infection in the lungs. Okay, more infection in the lungs, it will predict that you have pneumonia. Okay, and if you have flu also, there is a change in your temperature. Okay, so it may predict any of the labels listed over here. Okay, fine. So this is one kind of classifier model. Okay, this is what we'll call as a disease classifier model. Okay, now let us move on to our target content for today. That is what? Text classifier. Okay, this is our target for today class content. Okay, so first let us discuss about a simple threshold classifier. So for that, what I'll do is first I will select some list of positive words and some list of negative words. Okay, for example, if you consider here in the list of positive words, I have some words called great, awesome, good, amazing, etc. All these are all what? Positive words. And if you see the negative words, okay, and if you see the negative words, you have bad, terrible, disgusting, unhappy, etc. All these are all what? Negative words. Okay. Now what I'll do is, if I got a review, then what I'll do is I will count how many positive words are there in my review and how many negative words are there in my review. Okay. So this is how. Then I can say that if number of positive words are greater than number of negative words, then I can say that this review is a positive review. Otherwise, this review is a negative review. This y cap will represent the label. Which label is going to be predicted for the given particular review. Okay, if your review contains more positive words than the negative words, then it is a positive review. If it is not, it is a negative review. Okay, like that will predict the label for your sentence or a review. So first, let us take an example. What is it? Biryani was great. The food was awesome, but the service was terrible. Okay. So here, if you observe here, great, awesome. These two are positive words and terrible is a negative word. And if you consider here, I can say that the number of positive words is 2 and number of negative words is 1. Then your sentence review is predicted as it is a positive review. It is a positive review. Okay. So the label predicted for this for your review is what? Plus. Plus means it is a positively reviewed sentence. Okay. Based on the count of the words. Okay. So what are the disadvantages? Okay. Chandrasekhar, you may get an answer for this for your question here. Okay. So how do we get the list of positive or negative words? First of all, if you want to review a sentence, whether it is a positive or a negative, first of all, who will supply this positive or negative words? We don't know, right? So we have that means I cannot have the initial corpus of positive or negative words in order to trace whether to what extent they are present in my sample review. That is first disadvantage. For example, words have different degrees of sentiment. Okay, different degrees of sentiments means, for example, if I say great is, how can I say that great is greater than good? Okay, I can, how can I analyze that? How your system can analyze that? Okay, great or good, which is more effective word? Anybody knows? Anybody don't know about it, right? Great is a positive, great is positive. If great is positive word, is good is a negative word? We cannot say that. Okay, so you may have different degrees of the sentiment in the same sentence. Okay, so I cannot, your system may not be differentiate which word is more positive than the other. Okay, similarly, how do we weigh different words? Okay, all these are all that means if you have different extents of degrees of words, okay, then each word should have some weight. Okay, but how do we are going to weight? That is also unknown. So how in some reviews you may find that, for example, I can say that good is positive. What about not good? Negative. Am I right? But according to the classifier, what we have learned till now, not good should also be positive, right? as Chandrasekhar said, both the word, one is positive word and another is the negative word. Because of that, even though that word is, even though that sentence has good, it is saying that it is a negative word. But all these things, how your system is going to identify. Okay. So for that, for the above two, I can use the linear classifier by considering the individual words, and their weights. Okay, the linear classifier will give the solution for the first two disadvantages. Okay, the linear classifier will give you the solution for the first two disadvantages. In the later PPT slides, we will see what is this linear classifier. Okay, and for the third one, which is something complex, so that can be addressed more elaborately. Okay, it is not that much simple than the linear classifier. Okay, first we will see the how to overcome this disadvantage. Okay, third disadvantage, and then we'll go for the first two. Okay, for example, that is what if I say that the third disadvantage, if you consider, okay, this addressing is going to be solved through the method called sentence scoring. Okay, the method called sentence scoring. What do you mean by sentence scoring? So initially we have some weight for each and every word. See, in the previous slide, you may see that different degrees of positive words will be there. For example, good and great has the same meaning, but great is more effective than good. So good has been given as the weight as 1.0 and great has been given as the 1.5, and awesome is more positive word than good and great. That's why we are giving the weight as the 2.7. Okay, and if you see bad is a negative, it is a negative word. Okay, that is why it has been given the weight as a minus 1.0, and terrible as minus 2.1, and awful means it is a minus 3.3. And these are all restaurant, the, we, where. These are the general English terms or noun. What do you call nouns and pronouns will be given a weight as the 0.0. Why? Because all these nouns and pronouns doesn't have any degree of describing a particular sentence. Okay, degree of describing a particular sentence. All these words are the general words. That is why we are giving the weight as the 0.0. Okay. So what about the review if both positive and negative words are equal? That is why the sentence scoring method is 1. Okay, the sentence scoring method will give you the solution. Let us see on one example. Okay, so this is the table what we are carrying. Okay, and again I am taking the same review. What is it? Biryani was great, the food was awesome, but the service was terrible. Now how based on the sentence scoring method. Okay, concentrate. Okay, all of you please pay attention. Here I am taking the sentence as the biryani was great, the food was awesome, but the service was terrible. As we have seen, based on the count of the words, we have seen that this sentence got the positive review. Okay, now I want to apply sentence scoring method now. So if you want to use the sentence scoring method, first you have to calculate what is the score of the X. Score of the X can be calculated. For example, I have great. Okay, what is the weight of the great? 1.5 plus, and I have the word called awesome. What is the weight of the awesome? 2.7. 1.5 plus 2.7, and the terrible means minus 2.1. So totally how much you got? 2.1. Okay. How much you got? 2.1. And this 2.1 is greater than 0. This 2.1 is greater than 0 and it is a positive number. Okay. And it is a positive number. Okay. So your X label is positive. You understand? If you have equal positive words and negative words, as some of the students said, sir, what happens if my review contains equal number of positive words and negative words. In that case, how we can predict the label of a sentence? This sentence scoring method again plays a very important role, okay, if you have equal positive and negative words also. Okay, if you calculate the score of the sentence, then you can identify whether the positive words are giving more impact or the negative words are giving more impact. Okay, even though they are equal in the number, okay. So always we cannot stick to the number of words, number of positive words and number of negative words. Okay, if you stick to the number of words based on the count of words, if you predict the label, that will not be work all the time. That is why we are going to adopt this method called sentence scoring method. Okay, even though you have equal number of positive and negative words, it is going to calculate the impact of the positive words as well as negative words. Okay, is it clear? Hope the doubt has been cleared. Yes. For example, I have only 2 words. Okay, I have only 2 words in my sentence. This will give you the more elaborate manner. Okay, we have only 2 words in my review. Okay, one is awesome, another is the awful. Where awesome weight is 1.0 and awful weight is minus 1.5. Okay, I want to take the same review again. Instead of great, I have replaced with the awesome. Okay, so if you plot the graph, it will look like this. Okay, that means if I want to construct a linear classifier, okay, if I construct a linear classifier, first what are the various words that are there in my review? First I have to identify. I have only 2 words. Okay, awesome and awful. One is positive word, another is negative word, but I don't know how many of awesome is there and how many of awful will be there. But if you consider a particular sentence like this sentence contains 2 awesome and 1 awful. For example, if you want to plot a point, okay, let me place it on the paint for more elaborately. Okay, here my sentence contains okay, 2 awesomes and 1 awful. So that point can be plotted here. Okay, this is the point that has been plotted here. Why? Because this graph has been plotted between the different positive and negative words. But I am taking only 2 words, 1 positive and 1 negative words, in order to construct a linear classifier. Okay, for example, I have only 2 words, 1 positive word that is awesome and 1 positive word is awful. I am taking awesome on the x-axis and awful on the y-axis. And if I consider this statement, called biryani was awesome, food was awesome, and the service was awful. So in my sentence, I have 2 awesomes and 1 awful. Okay, so this point will tell you how many positive and negative words are there in your given sentence. Like that, I may consider so many sentences, okay, in which I have 4 awesomes and 2 awful. Then this will be the point. If I have 3 awesomes and 0 awful, that will be represented by this point. If I have 4 awesomes and only 1 awful, then this statement is going to be represented like this. In the similar manner, okay, if my sentence contains more than 4 awful and only 0 awesome, and that sentence will be look like this. And then the point will be this. Okay, and if I have only 2 awesomes but 4 awfuls, then the data point is this. Okay, am I clear? Okay, so this statement is 2, 0. Okay, let me 2, 0, 2, 1. Sorry. Okay, 2, 1. 2 comma 1 means I have in my sentence, I have 2 awesomes and 1 awful. Similarly, so this is positive statement, right? So I'm going to replace with the black color. Okay. Okay. So this is actually what it has. This is the point of 4 comma 1. That means I have 4 awesomes and 1 awful. Similarly, if you consider here, similarly, what this point data point represents, we have only 2 awesomes. Awesomes and 4 awful. Can anybody tell me what is the change that you are going to observe? Okay, what is the change that you are going to observe? If the y-axis, if the y coordinate value is going to increase, that statement can be considered as a negative statement. Will you agree or not? If you have more y coordinate than x coordinate, then that review can be taken as a, yes, review is negative if y value is greater than x value. Y value is greater than x value. That review is termed to be positive if x value is greater than y value. Okay, like that I have so many data points. Why? Because my model may not contain, my data set may not contain a single review. It may have multiple reviews. I'll take each and every review as my data point, and I'm going to construct, and I'm going to plot all those points in the graph like this. Okay. So now I'm going to construct a decision boundary for me. Okay. If Okay. Okay, am I audible now? Am I audible now? Okay. So as I like that, we can have a decision boundary. We can plot all these data points like this. With reference to all these data points, we can construct a decision boundary. If I have exactly only one awesome and only one awful words, and this line can be taken as a linear classifier. And this line I can consider it as a linear classifier, which will classify specifically the negative review sentence and the positive review sentences. Okay. So so decision boundaries may have different types of predictions. Okay, if you change the decision boundary, okay, if you decision boundary in the sense if you construct various types of linear classifiers, okay, the prediction may change. The predictions may be changed. Okay. So when you have only two weights, okay, when you have only two weights, here in this our example only we have two words. I'm going to differentiate based on only those two words. That way I'll be draw a line. Okay, if I have only two weights, and if I have three weights like that, then I have to construct a plane. Are you following or not? I have to construct a plane. Why? Because I cannot plot three weights on a two-dimensional space. Okay. Similarly, if I have more than three weights, then it is called as a hyperplane, which is also called as a high-dimensional plane. Okay. Based on that, we can do the more general classifiers. Okay. More general classifier means that will show you some complicated shapes. All those complicated shapes can be plotted on a given hyperplane. Okay. Now let us see how to train and evaluate a classifier, text classifier. Okay, specifically. For example, I have a table like this. Okay, from all the weights which we have furnished in this table. Okay, all these weights are going to be learned by your classifier. Based on that, it will take the training set and it will get trained. Okay, it will get trained, and for the evaluation of your classifier, the testing set is going to play a very important role. And your data set will contains, some of them will be positive sentences and some of them the negative sentences. But the training set, when the training set is going to linear classifier, that linear is going as an input for your classifier. This classifier will take the help of the sentence word weights, and it will be get trained. Whether it is trained properly or not, that will be evaluated with the help of the testing set. Okay. So I can say that you are training a classifier is nothing but you are making your classifier to learn the weights, Whether those weights are learned properly or not, that can be evaluated by taking this test set as the input. Okay. So how to calculate the classification error? For example, I have a test example. Okay, I have one review. Okay, I have one sentence. For example, it has a positive label. Okay, for example, it has a positive label. But when it is, how can we trace a classification error for a particular given review? It is possible when you hide the label for this sentence and you have to send that to the classifier. Okay, what I will take first, I will consider one instance or one review or one example. Okay, even though it has a positive label, I want to evaluate this review. Okay, by hiding the label, and I have to send that example to my learned classifier. And if the test example has been given as an input for my learned classifier, then it will predict a label. If it predicts positive, then I can say that its score is 1. The correct it has the number of corrects is 1 and mistakes as 0. For example, if it predicts it is a negative, the number of corrects will become 0 and mistakes will be 1. Okay, this is what we are going to do and evaluating the when you are going to evaluate the classifier. Okay, evaluating the classifier is nothing but first you have to give an example by hiding its label, and you will send that to a learned classifier. If it predicts positively, then it will be taken as a correct label, and if it is predicting negatively, then it is called as an incorrect label. So the classification errors and accuracies can be calculated like this. Okay, so error can be calculated as error is equal to number of wrongs by total number of sentences. Okay, for example, I have 100 sentences for which I want to evaluate my model. I have 100 sentences for which I have to evaluate my model. Out of that, it is giving 3 wrongs, for example. Out of that, it is giving 3 wrongs. Then my error is 3%. Error is 3%. Okay. If you convert that into a fractional value, then it is a 0.03. 0.03. So the best possible value is 0. What is the meaning of that? If your error is 0, then I can say that it is an efficient classifier. If your error is 0, then I can say that your classifier is efficient classifier. At the same time, based on the accuracy, how can I say that? Accuracy is calculated number of corrects by total number of sentences. For example, I have 100 reviews. All these 100 reviews are going to be as input for my learned classifier, and it is going to predict for 80 sentences as correct labels. Okay, out of 100, if it predicts 80 sentences as the correct labels, okay, then my accuracy is what? 80%. Am I right? Then the accuracy is what? 80%. Automatically the error is 20%. Okay, then if I can convert 80% into the fractional value, then it is a 0.8. Am I right? So then what will be the best possible value? If I say that your classifier is efficient classifier, then the best possible value is what? 1.0. If it says that all the 100, if you give the correct labels for all the 100 statements, then the accuracy is 1.0. Okay, that is possible with the random forest classifier. We can achieve 100% accuracy for the random forest classifier irrespective of any data set. That is why in industries, random forest classifier is very popular than the other classifiers. Yesterday we already discussed about this confusion matrix. Okay, anybody have any doubt regarding this confusion matrix? Otherwise, we'll go for practical example directly. If you want, I'll explain again. Otherwise, we'll go. I'll go further. Okay, let me. Okay, I'll repeat. Okay, no problem. Okay, this confusion matrix is also one of the efficiency measure of your classifier. Okay, I can say that it is a metric. Okay, if anybody asks what the question in the interviews, what are the metrics? Okay, what are the metrics for evaluating any classifier? Okay, very important question. What are the metrics that are required to evaluate any classifier? So the answer is first one, error. The second one, accuracy. And the third one, confusion matrix. These three are the measures, okay, for the absoluteness for your classifier. We have seen error and we have seen the accuracy. Now we'll see what is this confusion matrix. Confusion matrix will also constructed for a given test data, but not for trained data. Let me clear about this. confusion matrix is evaluated for testing data, but not for training data. Okay. So how can we evaluate the confusion matrix for the given testing data means, for example, okay, if you have only two labels, okay, this is a 2 by 2 confusion matrix. Let me clear about this. Okay. 2 by 2 confusion matrix, okay, is applicable to the testing data set which has only two labels. 2 by 2 confusion matrix is applicable to the testing data set which has only two labels. If it has three labels, then the order of your confusion matrix is 3 by 3. Let me clear about this. Why? Because if I say that it is a 2 by 2 matrix, then it will describe only about two labels. Okay. For example, if my actual class is true, and your classifier as predicted as a true, they can say that it is a true positive. Why? Because actual class, it is representing true, and your predictor also representing it as a true. Then I can say that it is a true positive. That is why I have highlighted this in a green color. Similarly, if your testing data set contain an example with false label, the same example evaluated by your predictor and given it is a false label, then it is called as a true negative. Okay, that's why these true positives and true negatives are kept in the green color. Why? Because these are the correct labels that are going to be predicted by your classifier. Based on this correct labels only, I can calculate the accuracy directly. Okay, if it is happening in reverse, for example, your review has a true label, but your predictor is going to predict it as a false. Okay, then it is called as a false negative. And your actual testing data has a false label, but your predictor is predicting it as a true, then it is called as a false positive. Okay, అంటే మీ ప్రెడిక్టర్ తప్పుగా ట్రూ అని చెప్తే అది ఫాల్స్ పాజిటివ్. ఒకవేళ మీ ప్రెడిక్టర్ తప్పుగా ఫాల్స్ చెప్తే అది ఫాల్స్ నెగటివ్. ఓకే, దట్స్ వై దీస్ టూ ఆర్ kept in the red color. And I can evaluate error. Okay, I can evaluate error directly with these two red words. Okay, using TP and TN, we can directly measure accuracy. Okay, and using FP and FN, we can directly measure error. Am I correct or not? Yes. And when you are in a position of identifying all these four, remaining all are like formulas, just like formulas. You have to remember these formulas. Okay, you have to remember the formulas. So how we can calculate the accuracy? TP plus TN, that is what I'm saying. Using TP and TN, you can directly measure the accuracy. What is how to calculate the accuracy means correct labeled examples by total number of examples. Ante kada. Total number of examples may contains true positive, true negative, false positive, and false negative. That is why accuracy formula is given like this. If I say that it is an error, instead of TP and TN, here you have to give FP and FN. Then it gives an error. Am I clear? All of you? Am I clear? Okay. Am I clear? Confusion matrix is clear? Confusion matrix is clear without any confusion? Yes? Okay. Now let us implement the practical example for this text classifier. All of you open the Jupyter notebook and make the S frame what I am typing in the chat window. Ready? Amazon underscore baby dot sframe. All of you make this data set ready. This is the original data set that I already mailed to you. Okay. Hope all of you have this data set. Okay. Make this data set ready and try to identify the path of the where you have stored this data set. I'll be back in 1 minute. So all of you ready? Shall we start the practical example, practical implementation of this text classifier? All of you ready? Please acknowledge through chat. All of you ready? Shall we start? Nobody is responding. Am I audible? Okay. Now let me start my notebook, that is Jupyter notebook. Let me create a new Python book. Okay. Let me give the title for this as sentiment, or otherwise I can say that product review classifier. Today's date is 25/06/2020. Okay. So first, let me import GraphLab package. Import GraphLab. Okay, first all of you import GraphLab. Okay. After doing some analytics, then we'll go to build the classifier. Okay. Starting, it will take some time. For all of it is taking the more time, right? For the first time, when you execute this GraphLab for the first time in a notebook, in a new notebook, it takes some time, right? I think it is for all of you. Of course, it executes, but it takes some time. Once the GraphLab is successfully imported, from there we can do our exercise. Okay, so successfully imported. So now what we will do is the second step, loading data set. So for loading the data set, what I will do is I will name it as reviews. Reviews is equal to GraphLab dot sframe. This data set is there in my F drive. That is, I'm giving this path. I have stored my data set in F drive. See, this is Amazon baby.sframe. This is the real-time reviews of Amazon products, baby products. Okay. Real-time data set. Okay. So don't bother, it gives error like that only. This, if you execute the second time, it doesn't give anything, no problem. Now what I'll do is I want to explore the data. Okay. That means I want to inspect what is there in that data set. Let's explore the data set. For that, what I will do is I will check using head method. Okay, this is the data set, how it will look like. It has 3 labels, 3 columns. One is name, another is review, another is rating. The name is nothing but the product name, and review is what is the review that has been given. Okay, what is the review that has been given for this product. Okay, and what is its rating. Like that, we have so many products and the respective reviews and ratings. Here 3, 5, 5, 4, all these are stars. Okay, if you say that it is a 3.0, then it is a 3-star rating, and if it is 5.0 means it is 5-star rating. Okay, like that, so on and so forth. So what I'll do is the second very important step is I want to build the word count vector. Okay, what is it? The word count vector for each review. I'll tell you what is the word count vector. Okay, after executing this instruction, that is products of word count is equal to, it will create not products, sorry, reviews. It creates a new column called word count, and it will calculate the word count for each and every review in the data set, and it will assign to that respective reviews column. Okay, so for that, what I'll do is I'll use GraphLab dot text analytics dot, what is the text analytics? That is count words of product, that is of reviews, and this count vector is constructed for each and every review of the product. That means I want to construct the word count vector for this review, word count vector for this review, word count vector for this reviews, and so on and so forth. Okay, and I want to execute this. Okay, so the word count vector has been successfully created. Now let us see how, let us again one more time, let us check the data set after creating the new column called word count. See, it will look like this. Do you know what you mean by word count? What it will do is it will tokenize the review into individual words. Okay, and it calculates each and every word's frequency. For example, if I consider A and the end, end repeated 5 times in my review, and stink repeated 1 time in my review, because repeated 1 time in my review, so on and so forth. Okay, each and every review will be tokenized into words, and the calculation of the frequency for each and every word is going to be taken place. Okay, that will be repeated for each and every review, and I have created new column called word count, and I have placed those words along with the frequency in that new column. Okay, next let us study the data visually. Okay, okay, in the notebook itself. So what data you want to check visually? That is reviews of name dot show. So I want to study only the product names through my graph. Okay, through my visual. Okay, so these are the various products I have: Woolly Sophie the giraffe, Simple Wishes, Infant Optics. Do you know what are all these things? These are all the name of each and every product, and this is the count of that product and how much percentage of its distribution. For every product there will be different types of reviews, right? So I have 785 reviews for Woolly Sophie the giraffe, and I have 562 reviews for Simple Wishes, and I have 561 reviews for Infant Optics, so on and so forth. If I consider this Woolly Sophie the giraffe, the percentage of its distribution is 42%, 42.8%. Similarly, it is 30.6%. Okay, out of all the data, out of all the examples in the data set. Okay, so Woolly Sophie the giraffe has, here I can say that Woolly Sophie the giraffe has been sold much more than other products. If I can I say like that? Okay. Can I say like that? If I have 785 reviews, means I can say that Amazon has sold Woolly Sophie the giraffe in more number of quantity than the other products. Okay, so this is how we can this is how we can analyze the products graphically, visually. Okay, now let me take only one product reviews. Okay, which product has been sold more? That is Woolly Sophie the giraffe. Okay, I'll select only those reviews. Okay, giraffe reviews, the first review. Why? Because as I want to study about this Woolly Sophie the giraffe, which has more count or which has more sales when compared to all the products, so I want to do sentiment analysis only on the reviews of Woolly Sophie the giraffe. Okay, so for that, what I'll do is I'll create another data set called giraffe reviews, and I want to select the reviews. Okay, whose name is equal to Woolly Sophie the giraffe, giraffe theater. So this is the name of the product. I want to take only reviews of that product only. I want to take only the reviews of that product only, and I want to do the sentiment analysis on it. Okay, let us check whether we have successfully retrieved those reviews or not. For that, what I'll do is I'll print the length of the giraffe reviews only. So 785. We got 785. Okay, we got only 785 reviews, right? Okay. Okay, let us start analysis. Okay. If you want to start analysis, first thing what you are supposed to do is first build a sentiment classifier. Okay. And I want to show I want to see the overall rating distribution. Okay. Reviews of rating dot show view is categorical. See here I am doing the analysis for a complete data set, not only for giraffe data set. Okay, I am doing the analysis for complete data set, and that too rating based on the rating. For example, if I take irrespective of the product, I have 5-star rating products 58.33%. I have 5-star rating product 58.33%. I don't know what are the products in that, but if you consider only rating wise distribution, it has 5-star rating has 58.33% and 4-star rating has 18.092%, so on and so forth. Okay. And here our aim is to which is the positive sentiment and which is the negative sentiments, right? Based on the rating only we will do that. Let us see how we can do that. Define what's positive, and negative sentiment. Okay. Now let us define that. For that I'll write a code. Okay. What I'll do is I'll do reviews is equal to reviews of again rating not equal to 3. So what is the meaning of this? First, what I'm doing here is I want to eliminate reviews of 3-star rating. Ante kada. For example, low rating we నేను 0 అనుకున్నాను, high rating ఏమో 1 అనుకుందాం అనుకున్నాను. Then what is then there is no need of with rating 3. Okay, I will consider the rating less than 3 as negative sentiment and the rating greater than 3 as the positive sentiment. That's why what I am doing is I am eliminating the reviews with the 3-star rating. Okay, that is the first thing you will do. The next what you will do is I'll write I want to construct the sentiments for the remaining reviews. Okay, for the remaining reviews, as I want to construct a new column called sentiment column. Okay, and I want to give rating as 1. I want to give rating as 1. Okay, if the star rating is greater than 4. Okay, what it will do? It will consider all the remaining reviews except 3-star rating. We already eliminated that 3-star rating reviews in this statement. For the remaining reviews, it assigns 1 if the star rating is more than 4 and assigns 0 if the star rating is less than 4. Okay, for this let us check the reviews again. See here, if you observe, if you have rating as 5-star rating, the sentiment is 1. 4-star rating also you have the sentiment as 1. Okay. Okay. For example, if you see last data set, last few lines, then let us give reviews.tail. Then here you can observe, here also we don't have any less than 4 or 5 rating. Okay, you have if you have a star rating as less than 4, automatically 0 will be assigned, no problem. Okay. Now let us split the data into training and data sets. Okay. Let's split the reviews data set into training and testing sets. For that, what I'll do is I write train data, and test data, which is equal to reviews dot split, not split kada. Actually, it is a random split. Reviews dot random split 0.8. 0.8 nothing but it is 80%. It will take 80% training data set and the remaining 20% the testing data set, and there is no random selection. Seed is 0. Okay. Random selection only, but it selects at random, but the rate is 0. Random rate is 0. So now I will create the classifier. Create the sentiment classifier. Okay. So what is that classifier? Sentiment underscore classifier is equal to GraphLab dot, here I want to use logistic regression. Can anybody tell me why logistic classifier? If it doesn't write seed equal to 0, I think please test it. I think nothing will be happen. That's why I'm taking a logistic classifier, as I have only binary classification. Why? Because I have a sentiment either 0 or 1, right? I have the sentiment labeled as either 0 or 1. That means only 2 labels. And logistic regression is also used for binary classification. That's why I'm taking the logistic classifier. Create. I want to apply on my training data, which target is equal to sentiment, and features. Let me go to the next line. Features is equal to word count. Word count vector. Okay. Word count vector as the features. Okay. Wait. Wait. I'll tell you. Okay. So what you have to write is validation underscore set is equal to test underscore data. Okay, you have to add one more argument, that is what is the test data. Okay. Okay, sentiment is not there in the brackets. Okay, it successfully built the classifier. Okay, let me change it as a sentiment underscore classifier. Okay, so the classifier successfully built. Okay, once all of you check the syntax. Okay, train data, I want to build it on a train data, and the target is sentiment. Features is word count, and validation set is my testing data set. Okay, so number of classes is 2 and number of feature columns is only 1. Okay, number of feature column, how many features we are supplying? Only one feature, that is word count feature. But the label, how many labels we have? 2, that is either 1 or 0. Okay, now let us evaluate our model. Okay, that is sentiment underscore classifier. I want to evaluate this model on which data set? Testing data set, right? So test underscore data. So I want to give a metric as ROC curve. Generally, for logistic regression, the metric is used is ROC curve. Why? Because it represents a sigmoid function. It represents how the values have been distributed. Okay, the testing data values have been distributed. According to that, it will measure the accuracy. Okay, ROC curve is the metric generally used for a logistic regression classifier. Okay, so here if you see the false positives and true positive rates here. Okay, FPR and TPR. Okay, here it is identifying the sorry, not yeah, false positive rate and true positive rates. Okay, it will check, and these are the number of positive examples and these are the number of negative examples. Okay, number of negative examples, this classifier has been classified, your logistic regression has classified. Okay, in the testing data set, out of in the overall testing data set, 27,976 examples are the positively labeled and 5,328 are negatively labeled. For example, if you observe the graphical model for it, graphical model sentiment underscore classifier dot show view is equal to evaluation. Okay, v is equal to evaluation. So this is how your true positive rate has been. There are two axes. One is a true positive rate is plotted on y-axis, and false positive rate is plotted on x-axis. Now what I am doing, this ROC curve is going to compare the number of positively labeled examples and the negative label example. Okay, that means it will compare the false positive rates and true positive rates. Okay, in that you can observe true positives are 26,521. So the accuracy of the model has been given as the 91%. Okay, this everything has been calculated based on the confusion matrix what we have discussed earlier. Okay, these are the number of true positive examples, and these are the false positive examples, and these are the false negative examples, and these are the true negative examples. If you see these two rows and first two rows and two columns, it represents your confusion matrix. As per the values that has been taken, it will calculate the accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. Here, if you observe, every score is greater than 90%. So your model has been efficiently built. Your model has been efficiently built. If you want, you can change the threshold. Okay, if you want, you can change the threshold. If you change the threshold, okay, it will changes the rate of prediction. It will changes the rate of prediction, and so that accuracy, precision values will also change. But generally, we will keep this threshold as 50% only. Okay, 50% only. Okay, not more than that and not less than that. Okay. Now let us observe the giraffe reviews. Okay. Let us observe about the giraffe reviews. Okay, that is giraffe reviews of product. I will create one more new column for only giraffe reviews, in which using your sentiment classifier. Okay, using sentiment classifier, I want to predict the giraffe reviews output type. Okay, here what I am doing is, here I am using the probability function. What will be the probability of what is the probable label that we can assign to the each and every giraffe reviews. Okay, so that is why it is what we'll call it as a predicted sentiment. Okay. Giraffe reviews not defined. Wait. What is the name of the variable that we have given for the giraffe? Giraffe. Okay, no E. There is no E here. Okay. Now what I want to do is, I want to predict the sentiment probability. Okay, what is the sentiment probability? Not, I'm directly not giving the sentiment to my review either 0 or 1. I just give the probability of sentiment. Okay, so if you want to understand that, let us print the giraffe reviews head. So it gives predicted sentiment as 99% for this. 99% is, this is positively rated. Okay. All of you once observe here, if I take the first review whose rating is 5.0, so there is a chance of 99% it is positively predicted. It is a positive statement. It is here also 5.0 is there. So 99% it is positively sentimented review. Similarly, if you take third review, it is 1.0 rating, right? So what is the probability of positively prediction? It is 0.013, means what? 1%. There is only 1% chance of predicting it as a positive. Why? Because its rating is what? 1.0. Am I right? So similarly, this is only the probability of which, whether it is a positive or negative. Okay. This is another type of sentiment analysis. Okay. So now if I want to sort the giraffe reviews based on the predicted statement, predicted sentence, predicted sentiment. Okay. Sort the reviews based on predicted sentiment and explore. So for that, what I'll do is I use giraffe underscore reviews is equal to giraffe underscore reviews dot sort based on predicted sentiment, sentiment. Okay, where P is capital. Based on predicted sentiment, I want to sort the giraffe reviews in descending order. That's why I'm giving ascending as false. If you give ascending or false means it displays in descending order. So let us take the head again. See, it's starting with 1.0. From there it is descending the predicted sentiment. Okay, it is the probability of this review to be positive. The probability of this review is positive. Okay, almost all the reviews are 99% predicted sentiment, which has the 5-star rating as well as 4-star rating here. For 4-star rating, it is 99%. For this, it is 100%. Okay, like that you have to assume. Now let us do the predictions. Okay, so far we have done only analysis for analysis for evaluation and calculating the predicted sentiment. So now let us directly predict the label for a particular review. For that, what I will do is I will take giraffe reviews. Okay, a particular giraffe review, that is the first product in giraffe reviews. So this is the review of the first giraffe product. Okay, this is the review of the first giraffe product, and I want to see the second giraffe product review. For that, what I have to give is here, instead of 0, give 1. Instead of 0, if you give 1, okay, it gives the review of the second giraffe product. Okay, now I want to predict the label for this. No need to actually predict the label. Actually, if you want to predict the label, again you have to construct the word count vector for it. Okay, word count vector for it. And if you want to see the, for example, if you want to see the label of this review, you can go through this table. Okay, so I'm displaying this review. What is the predicted sentiment for this? So 1.0. So automatically it is positively sentimented. I can say that it is positively sentimented, and I have sorted all these reviews based on the predicted sentiment. Okay, here I can find the first record. In the first and foremost records, I can find all the positively sentimented reviews. If I go on bottom, then it is a negatively reviewed. For example, if you let us see some negatively reviewed statements. Okay, for that, what I will do is negative reviews. So if you want to see the negative reviews, apply giraffe reviews of -1 review. That is, it's very bottom based review it is. Okay, it is completely negatively reviewed. If you want, you can study the review. Okay, it is a very bottom review, which is completely negatively sentimented review. Okay, so it is not in this table. This table displays only the first and foremost reviews, which are all positive. If you go on bottom for this table, then you'll get the negative reviews. So one of the negative reviews I am displaying here. If you want, you can study this review, which will tell you the very negative, which will give you the very negative feedback. Similarly, if you study one more review, it will be look like this. Okay, So like that, we can, using this predicted statement sentiment also, we can predict the labels, the probability of predicting the labels for the each and every review like this. Am I clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Please acknowledge through chat. All of you are hope all of you are executed all these things. Bharatam Manikanta, what is your doubt? Bharatam Manikanta, what is your doubt? You given no, sir. What you are not clear? Meanwhile, I'll give you the. Okay, all clear. Okay. I think hope all of you are executed the code. If you are not executed, don't worry. This video will be posted in our YouTube channel. You can follow that video and you can do the exercise. No problem. Okay, don't worry. So all of you, please click on this link and start writing the quiz for the yesterday's class. Okay. All of you, please make note of this link and please forward this link to all your friends. Okay, to write the quiz exam in the yesterday's session, for the yesterday's session. Okay, shall we wind up the session? Please acknowledge through chat. Shall we wind up the session? Let's wind up the session. Okay. Sir, can we get input? Input as a comment. I didn't get you, Chandrasekhar. I didn't get you. Yeah, that is what I'm saying. For that, what you have to do is you have to calculate the word count vector for that particular review. Okay. For example, okay, you can. Okay, I'll give you one example. Okay. All of you don't go out of the session. I want to take a new review. I'm clarifying Chandrasekhar doubt. Okay, new reviews is equal to reviews of, all of you please execute along with me. Okay. Reviews of name is equal to baby baby trend diaper champ. Okay, this is the product I want to take. Now what I want to do is I want to take the, I want to assign a new column called predicted sentiment, okay, to my new reviews, okay, using our model only. For that, what I'll do is I will use sentiment underscore classifier dot. I want to predict new reviews. So I'm predicting the sentiment for all the what do you call baby trend diaper champ. Okay. So output type is what? I think it is probability. I think. Yeah, probability. So now new underscore reviews is equal to new underscore reviews dot sort based on predicted sentiment again ascending is equal to false. So Chandrasekhar, we have only the facility of calculating the reviews for okay, like this. Okay, only for product wise you can calculate the you can predict the sentiment for it. Okay, here baby trend champ has the this. If you take this review, it has the sentiment as 1. For example, if you want to print the first review sentiment, okay. So what I can say that new underscore reviews of 0 of sentiment. What is it? It is 1. Okay, for the first review, it is the sentiment is 1. That means it is a positively rated. Okay. Before that, first you check its review. Okay. First check its review. This is the review. Okay. And this is the predicted sentiment. It is the sentiment. And what you have predicted actually, you have predicted sentiment, right? Okay. So for that, you can print predicted sentiment. How much it is? 99%. So this is the value that you have calculated. That means this is a 99% probability for probability. It is a positive statement, positive sentence for the first review. Like that, we can do product wise. We can do product wise. For example, if you want to do only for individual, okay, But if you take only one record, and you apply this algorithm on it, then you'll get the predicted sentiment. What you have to do is you are supposed to obtain this. This is your value that you are supposed to obtain this. This value says that for the what extent your statement is positively sentimented. Okay. Hope I answered your question. Okay. Sir, వచ్చేస్తున్నాను సార్ వస్తున్నాను సార్ క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను వచ్చేస్తాను okay okay let's wind up the session. Okay, all of you please go answer the quiz. Okay.